This is Chris with Winemaker TV, and if you like making beer, if you like cider, and you like wine, and you ever thought about making it yourself, please hit the subscribe button and the little bell notification so it'll let you know every time I come out with a new video and make a new wine. And today we'll be making hard cider, so stay tuned. We're going to go over the ingredients you're going to need. This little gallon plastic jug was going to be our fermenting vessel. It's 1 gallon, and I've cleaned it and sterilized it. Today, since we're making cider, I wanted to try this fresh pressed White House, no sugar added, no artificial ingredients, and not from concentrate, straight from the press. So I got a gallon of this, and we're going to see how it tastes. As you can see, it's kind of cloudy, so we're going to use a peptic enzyme to clear it. And we're also going to add a little bit of wine tannin to give it some mouthfeel. And you will need a funnel, sterilized, 3-piece airlock or any airlock. I just happen to have a 3-piece airlock. And today we're going to use my leftover Safel OS5 from when I brewed a pale ale a few months ago. So that's all the ingredients you'll need, and if you want to purchase some of these, Amazon affiliate link will be in the description. So let's get started. We got our funnel, and we got our fermenting vessel, and we got our juice. Cider is so simple. This is my first ever alcohol that I ever brewed was cider, and I guess because of that I love it, because it's easy to do, only takes a few moments. So we're going to pour, and there's no fancy equipment, fancy ingredients you need. It's apple juice, and it's yeast. And I'm from United States, from Georgia, and so we're going to shake it up and aerate it here. The colonies were built on cider. When the colonies came to the new land, they were afraid of the water, so they drank cider, and the children even drank cider, even though it was a watered down version of cider. They trusted cider more than they did the local water. And also, everyone's from around here's heard of Johnny Appleseed. Johnny Appleseed main reason he planted apples was for cider. So a lot of our folk tales about apples really stem from cider. Our President John Adams, for his stomach, a queasy stomach, I'm going to aerate this one, drank a tankard of cider a day. Like I said, our country was born on cider until the German immigrants brought in beer, and Prohibition happened, and they actually tore up and cut down all the orchards. And beer, when Prohibition was over, beer took hold more because it was easier to establish. The grains are, an annual crop around here. So when Prohibition was over, it was quick and easier to grow grains than the 5 years or more that it took to grow apple trees to start cider. So, but here recently, cider has taken on, been coming back. So I want to educate people on the history of cider and why I love cider. So we're going to add some more ingredients, and we'll be right back. I decided to break that video up right there because I forgot to sanitize and get a measuring spoon for the wine tannin. So we're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of both wine tannin and peptic enzyme. See, this is being fresh, it's really cloudy, so we're going to add some peptic enzyme to help clear it. Now this beer, when beer is made, it's a lot about how the hops and the temperature and what type of hops, when you add them, what kind of yeast that determines flavor. with cider and wines, you got the juice and the yeast that determines the flavor. So I got a different type of yeast than I had been before. I mean, a different type of juice than I had before, and I'm using a different type of yeast than I have before. So theoretically, I should have a different tasting cider. So we'll see. So I'm going to shake this up to incorporate the tannins and the peptic enzyme, and then we're going to come right back and add in the yeast, and we'll be done for today. All right, I'm going to put the top on it. We're going to give it a good shake. See how dark color and cloudy that is? That's why we add the peptic enzyme. So we're going to clear this. It can be scrumpy. That we're making this cider for ourselves, so it's okay if it's scrumpy. It ain't got to be crystal clear, but let's get it crystal clear as we can. All right, that's all good and shook up. Shake it up. All right, let's add our yeast. Like I said, this is a Safel OS5. It's an ale yeast, so normally I use a wine yeast. This is a dry ale yeast. So we'll add this, and it should give it a slightly different flavor. Even though we're using a store-bought juice, homemade cider is I prefer it much better than anything I've ever tried in the stores. Let's give it a swirl, not a shake, but we'll give it a swirl. And I've tasted, imported cider from England. I've tasted, local. To me, they're all too sweet. I make this to my palate. So that's the difference between a store-bought wine or a yeast. I mean, a wine or a cider, and one you make at home. You can make it for your palate. So, and now this is our cider. It'll start fermenting in a couple of days, and we'll be right back to wrap things up. That's how you make cider, and my Falcons had just won the first round of playoffs, so we're very excited about that. So we're going to go drink some wine, and this cider will start fermenting probably in the next couple of days and take about 7 to 10 days to finish fermenting, and then we'll transfer it to a secondary, let it stay in a secondary for another 2 weeks, and then we're going to bottle it in a grow style flip top bottle, which is going to be primed, so it'll be carbonated, and it'll stay in that bottle condition for 2 weeks, and then it'll be ready to drink, and then we'll do it live tasting as soon as it's finished making. So thank you for being here, and if you enjoyed this video, please let's keep this thing going. Hit the subscribe button and the little bell notification, and also ingredients and equipment to make your own cider will be in the description below. And this is Chris with Freedom Winemaker TV, and that's all there is today.